Hello, 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 beautiful. I just wanted to pop in here and just talk about this idea of abundance, manifestation, and self care. A lot of times we don't put those things together. Um, we think a lot of times that self care is just about getting some massages, going getting our nails done, hair done, having a glass of wine with the girls, different things like that. And I'm not saying that that isn't a form of self care. There that is, but there are other ways that you can self care too that are a little bit more radical and easy to implement in your life. But not just that, that these the type of self care that I'm going to be talking about in this video are self care strategies that will increase abundance in your life, that will help you to manifest things faster because you will have made this shift in your mind to well-being and the understanding of how self-care is a vital part of being able to live an abundant lifestyle. So without further ado, I know you want the deets. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I know this might surprise you, but it's absolutely essential for anyone who wants to experience the reality of effortless abundance. And of course, like I said earlier, that practice is radical self care. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking like, self care, girl, really? I'm doing that already. I'm trying to do that every weekend. How is that going to help me attract more abundance naturally into my life? But here's the thing, when we neglect our own well being, we send a powerful subconscious message that we don't believe we're worthy of abundance and joy. It's like we cut ourselves off from the very energy that allows us to show up fully and powerfully in the world. I know, wasn't that deep? So on the other hand, when we make our own well-being a top priority, we create a solid foundation from which to create and manifest our desires. We become more resilient in the face of challenges, more creative in our problem solving, and even more magnetic to the people and opportunities that will support us in or on our journey. But unfortunately, a lot of us live in a culture that glorifies hustle and grind. It can be all too easy to buy into the belief that self care is selfish or it's indulgent. I totally disagree. We convince ourselves that we don't have time for rest, that we don't have time for play, for the things that nourish our mind, body, and spirit. I learned, this lesson the hard way, and I'm hoping that I save many of you from going down this path. A few years ago, I found myself just in a state of complete and utter burnout. You hear me? Tired, tired. Didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to think. That's how burnt out I was. I have been working nonstop, saying yes to every opportunity that came my way and neglecting my own basic needs in the process. I was exhausted, y'all. I was stressed and completely disconnected from any sense of joy and purpose that had originally inspired me to pursue this path in the first place. And honestly, it wasn't until I hit a breaking point that I realized something had to change, like no more, no more. So, what I did was I started making small, consistent changes to prioritize my own well being. I began setting boundaries around my time and energy. You always hear people talking about, I set boundaries. I didn't know how a long time ago. But let me tell you, I quickly learned when I hit that burnout phase. So once I began setting boundaries around my time and energy, I then started recommitting to daily practices like meditation, getting up and walking, movement, and just eating better and having some nourishing meals. And as I did, I started to notice a profound shift, not just in my own energy and resilience, but in my ability to attract and manifest abundance in my life. Like it was a major, major shift. And as it turns out, this link between self care and abundance is backed by a wealth of scientific research. Studies have shown that People who prioritize practices like sleep, I'm still working on that one. Practices like sleep, exercise, and stress management are more productive, more creative, and more successful in their personal and professional lives. Like you literally can see it in their energy and aura. But the benefits of self care go even deeper than that, y'all. When we take care of ourselves, we send a powerful message to the universe, to God, to source that we are worthy of love, that we are worthy of care and abundance. We become like an open, clear channel for the flow of plenty. Like it's just this flow of plenty in our lives. So the question is, how can you start incorporating the practice of radical self care into your own life? Well, I'm not going to leave you stranded. I'm going to give you some practical tips that you can implement not tomorrow, but today. So let's get started on that. So, number one, start by identifying your non negotiables. Okay. What are the daily practices that help you feel grounded, energized, and connected to your own inner wisdom? Like for me, it's meditation every morning. Like every morning, every evening, that gets me grounded, it helps me feel energized, I feel connected. Meditation and prayer. Those are my two for sure things. And there's some other things in there. So what are yours? If you're having a hard time coming up with a routine, definitely go to inspirelife365.com. It hasn't been too long. I just created manifestation routines, and there's different ones. You'll love it. I'm sure there's one in there that probably fits your personality perfectly. Check it out and see if there's something that resonates with you. The second thing you can do is schedule self care into your calendar like any other important appointment. You've got to realize that you are a priority. If you don't make yourself a priority, who will? Okay? Treat this appointment as a sacred commitment to yourself and your well-being. That could be that schedule or that appointment could be taking a walk to clear your mind for 30 minutes. You can do that. Schedule that on your calendar, schedule it for your calendar at work, schedule it on your phone, and take that time for yourself just to chill. You can even have an appointment that says chill for an hour or two. Do that. Another thing you can do is practice saying no to activities or commitments that do not align with your values or support your well being. Okay. Now, I already know that some of you all may have a issue with saying no. I've been there. Trust me. So if no feels uncomfortable to you, try using the words not at this time. Okay. So practice saying not at this time. And that leaves room for you to make other decisions, or it doesn't feel as harsh as no if you haven't graduated to being able to say no, no, and no thank you yet. Okay. Remember that every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, guess what? You're saying yes to yourself, right? And then, of course, surround yourself with people who support and encourage your self care practices, right? Don't be around people who don't understand or who don't want to see you get your own peace of mind and have that sanity within yourself. Like build a community of care and accountability that will help you stay committed to your own well-being. Come over and join our Inspire Life 365 Society on Facebook if you need a community. Come there. We will definitely care for you. And you can meet people where you can become accountability partners as well. So, see, when we make our own well-being a top priority, incredible things start to happen. I've seen people go from being burnt out, that's people being me, myself, and other people I know. I've seen people go from being burnt out and disconnected to experiencing just extraordinary levels of vitality, creativity, and abundance in their lives. I've witnessed, honestly, the transformative power of self care, not just in my own life, but in the lives of countless others who have committed to this practice. They have made a commitment to themselves to self care. And by the way, self care is a form of self love. All right. And that's another reason why you experience such a shift when you decide to take better care of yourself. So, the best part of all of this is the more you fill your own cup, guess what? The more you'll have to give to others. Okay. The more you prioritize your own well being, the more powerfully You'll be able to show up in service of your purpose and the highest good of everyone involved. So I really want you to think about that. Think about what are the things that you're doing to self care, and I want you to practice these self care actions, and practice these self care actions align so that they align with what resonates with you to create that abundance. I want to invite you to recommit to your own radical self care. Choose one small way, just one. You can prioritize your well being today, not tomorrow, but today. And trust that as you do, you'll be opening up a powerful channel for the flow of plenty in your life. Remember, you are so worthy. You're so worthy of abundance, joy, and vitality simply because you exist. And when you make your own well being a top priority and become a powerful force for positive change in the world, there isn't anything you can't do or be or have. Okay. So as usual, I'm inspired by you. I hope that this video really resonated with you and gave you some ideas on how you can start your self-care journey, self-care, self-love journey so that you can create more abundance that's in alignment with who you are, with your passions, your purpose, and your desires. Again, if you haven't watched part one and part two, before this series right here, part three, definitely go back and check it out. Leave a comment below on the one thing that you're going to do that you've decided to do today that is going to start your self care journey. I'll see you soon and love you. Bye.